Before you watch this episode of our cityCURRENT radio show, I want to invite you to join cityCURRENT's e-learning and online personal development platform called GrowthCurrent. I'm Jeremy Park, host of the cityCURRENT radio show and CEO of cityCURRENT. GrowthCurrent is your exclusive ticket to attend virtual events with global thought leaders, national guest speakers, and experts who can help you grow personally and professionally. It gives you access to success secrets, lessons learned, learning modules, and so much more. Being online, you can join us from anywhere in the world. Subscriptions are only $8 a month, or you can do bulk subscriptions for your team. Check out growthcurrent.com to learn more and to join us in our efforts to power the good. And now, on to the show. Welcome to the cityCURRENT radio show. I'm your host, Jeremy Park. We're always honored to bring you inspiring stories of individuals and organizations making a difference, powering the good in our community. And this time we're taking an international flavor. So we're honored to kick it off. We have Hsing Liu. He's the CEO of 3PL Services, Inc., and he's the board director for Tennessee American Chinese Chamber of Commerce and the co-chair of Nashville-Chengdu sister city. So he is a busy man, but Hsing, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing very well. So let's start with the business, and then we'll dive into all of the amazing work you're doing in terms of community development and enrichment. So give us some background on 3PL Services.
Okay, 3PL Services, we focus on the PPE and also the medical device. We try to helping our healthcare personnel. And one of the reasons I called my personal favorite product, we call it Van Skim 2. And that's answer your question. Did you like to give in blood or get in injections?
Well, I know on your end, I already know where this is headed, but finding a vein is very tricky. And so I'm not a fan of getting pricked a few times to find it, but you make it easy, right? Kind of like a stud finder.
That's correct. That's correct. And it's an amazing thing is that we are so many times. And well, actually, tomorrow I'm going to have my annual checkout. And I always start nervous because I know the nurse going to poke my arm somewhere and get some blood coming out. And every time the nurse tries to do that, I close one of my eyes and try to look, oh, and it hurts. And especially if they didn't do the right spot, guess what? I hate that nurse say, why the blood is not coming out to the tube? So through the divine connection, we find the product, and this product is we call it a pocket ultrasound partner. It's actually we have a small probe, and they can just like an ultrasound you do on your tummy or whatever, and connect to your cell phone. So the nurses, when they stick the needle in there, they can actually see the vein. And also can see the needle get into your vein.
Wow.
So that way just need a one shot. They don't need to poke in, poke out, and all those kind of things. And when we talk to the people, we create a terminology we call the needle phobia. Because, the kids, I don't know if you have kids or not. I remember my daughter when she's little, they said, no, I don't want to go. Don't poke me, those kind of things. That's what we try to resolve that, just like you talk about it. It's like a stump funder to looking for your vein.
Yeah.
So that's one of our current product. We try to do is helping our healthcare personnel because recently we're involved in the organization and they call it the Pay for Success. That's for the state of Delaware, and they have a need for increase the blood drawing. And I'm pretty sure not just Delaware, I'm pretty sure Tennessee, everywhere they need that.
Yep.
So
that's a big deal when you talk about blood supply and especially across the state of Tennessee, it's a big deal. And so to your point, if you can make it easier and more people can give, then that becomes a life-saving opportunity. So it's a really powerful deal in terms of what you're doing on the business side. Carry that over into Tennessee American Chinese Chamber of Commerce and then Chengdu Sister City, because you are heavily involved in really creating a lot more global connectivity. And so talk about those two entities.
we call it Tennessee American Chinese Chamber of Commerce, TAC3. Our goal is like a defined connection between the two countries. And we know in this day, this don't have a whole lot distance between countries. We try to do the business with so many countries, but you're facing the challenge. Your first challenge is definitely be language. The second challenge was cultural, and then you added the regulation, law, legal, all those kinds of things add together. So you're afraid to jump in to do the business with other countries. So we have this organization. We try to do is that we create a monthly meeting. We share people in informational sharing. We tell the people we have experts there who do the business in China. We also have people who try to go in there. So we share what your challenges. We share what you need to face in those challenges. We actually give you lots of things. For example, when you talk to the Chinese and the first when you greet each other, people do the hand like this. That's Thailand. It's not China. So you have to learn how to talk to people separate, because Asian is not one country. It's a lot of countries down there. You don't want to mix them together. So that's how Purpose is doing. And we're also helping the people from China to the United States because they're facing exactly same kind of challenges.
Yeah.
So that's a basic TAC3 to help people for.
Give me, you mentioned kind of the hand gesture, but give me one or two things in terms of tips when you talk about just customs, if you will. Give us one or two of the most important ones that we all should know.
Okay. For example, you go to China when you eat. Okay. Chinese like to eat. So the greeting in the United States is, how are you? In China is, did you eat yet? That's the greeting. So, but when you sit down and eat, we don't use the plate, we use the ball. And you put the rice on top of that. Now here's the tricky part. You need to hold the ball. You don't put the ball on the table. You need to hold it up and move to your mouth and use the chopsticks and do the job. If you put the ball on the table and you move your head, your mouth to the ball, they say no. They say only the animal to do that. Human being got to bring the ball to your mouth.
See, I learned something new already. Nice.
Yeah.
All right, that's good. That's good. So when you talk about, the business side of connecting the countries, and as you mentioned, especially with technology now, the geography is removing itself from the equation so rapidly. Manufacturing, textiles, talk about some of the different automatic opportunities. When you start connecting the dots between Nashville, Tennessee, and China, what are some of the either exciting business ventures or exciting kind of industries, if you will, technology? What are some of the big ones to be connecting in with?
I gave you a very good one. The one we just mentioned about that, the Pocket Ultrasound Pro. It's through the TAC3, a doctor group asked us, say, hey, we need to find some company, help us find a manufacturer, because they create the apps, the application, need that Ultrasound Pro to do the job. So they contact us, we sit down, meeting with them, and we more than just help them find the original manufacturer, we help them drop the price. But at the same token, 3PL services will look, hey, this is a great tool. Why can't we promote that to help our, the healthcare? Because we know one thing, happy patient, happy nurse. And then most important, because your contribution to your community, you actually increase the patient satisfaction rate. And that's most important to 3PL services. We look in the community, we want to help them. So that's what we think about, hey, we should take this to the next step. So we jump in there and we move this product and hoping that every nurses who need a broad drawing, they have this tool in their hand.
Yeah. Speak a little bit about, from a business sense, once again, kind of going back to Tennessee American Chinese Chamber of Commerce side, you mentioned the info sessions and a lot of the kind of the workshops and the deep dive. Reiterate kind of the timing and how people can start taking advantage of those opportunities. So what's the best way for someone to say, hey, I want to learn more about this. I want to start looking at these opportunities. Where do they start?
Okay, the best way is to just go to our website. It's tac3.org. Very short, very easy. And if they have more questions, they also can contact me. I'll be glad to share with them. And I also encourage them to attend our meeting. Our next meeting for next month is December 8th. We're going to meet at the Dynasty Chinese Buffet restaurant in Nashville. And some other meeting will be on the Zoom, just like what we're doing right now. And we still share the information. So tac3.org is the best connection. They can go there, get information immediately. You'll be a second. Encourage people, come to the lunch. It's 11:30 on December 8th.
Going back to the idea of kind of the customs tip, give me one thing when you talk about business and doing business with China. What's something that you think every business owner should know? What's a business tip on that side?
Okay, if you research doing business in China, the first coming out they call the relationship. 关系, that's a Chinese word. I always tell the people it's not. It's the next level. We call it the trust. Because it's not just China, you do any kind of business overseas, you have to build the trust. If you don't have the trust, it's going to be very, very hard. The second one is that doing business outside the United States, it's a big pie. You don't go down there by yourself. You need experts because you're going to make a mistake. But if you have some expert help you side by side, you make less mistake, then you have more successful rate. And it's applied to all the country, not just to China. So encourage the people, the best thing before you go in there, especially China, talk to us. TAC3 will help you to give you some basic concept, just like when we took the Metro Council member go to China, we call orientation. We spend one evening, we go to Chinese restaurant, teach you how to eat the food, but also teach you what you say, you should not say.
Yeah, very, very important. All right, so now give us a little background on Chengdu Sister City, because when you talk about Nashville-Chengdu Sister City, I think it's really cool what you're doing there in terms of really tying in music and youth and culture in a very exciting way. So give us a little background on that.
Okay. Chengdu is the number 5 large city. It also is the gateway for China on the west side of gateway into European. And they grow so fast that they have 16 million in the population. For the information I got last year, they have 248 Fortune 500 companies. They got their branch over there. So you can see how important that the city is. But the most important is that 3 years ago, we find out that the city, they want to be the music city of China. So we look at that. My partner, Charles Lee, he grew up over there. So he contacted me and said, hey, this is a great opportunity. Since they want to be the music city, why can't we expand to the Nashville and have the sister city relationship built? So that way we cannot just the standard cultural exchange. We have a music and a business exchange as well. And that's how we start that. But the most important is we find out that it's not easy because the Metro Nashville already have one China city as a sister city. So you add in second one, they added a challenge because they don't have any, example, you can have a second. So we have to went through 5 mayors. So I'm going to tell you, say thank you that the current mayor, Jim Cooper, and the previous mayor, David Bradley, the Megan Berry, Carl Ding, they help us, they give us the opportunity. So establish the sister city in the June this year. Now, if you don't mind, give me another minute. I got a few more people I really want to appreciate them. One is the council lady, a large Sharon Hurd. She went over there several times. Just want to be sure the relationship built strong. We also have current Vice Mayor Jim Schuman. He also support us every time we have a delegation from China, Chengdu to visit here. He always open his heart and host them. Another person is the sister city of Nashville, the previous executive director. Her name is Heather Cunningham. She accept, because the challenge was the second sister city. She said, going to be hard. So she accept initial with us. And with all the board support, we let this happen. This is a hard challenge, 3.5 years, but because all those people, that's I call community get together, and we support this and let it happen. I appreciate every one of them to support us.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I think, to your point, when you look at 16 million people, fifth largest city in China, and yet, looking at that as a music opportunity, an economic opportunity, a cultural opportunity to be able to start cross-pollinating, it's a win for Nashville. It's a huge opportunity for Nashville, for Tennessee, for the U.S., but then also to be able to kind of create these relationships, kind of back to your point about trust.
Yeah.
That's where it starts, is working together and building trust. And then the magic starts to happen where it's like you start looking at the tourism it creates, the economic drivers it creates, and like I said, the sharing of all of these new opportunities. So what makes you most excited when you look at the future of where this is all headed? And you look at the business side, the cultural side, and everything that's going on with Tennessee American Chinese Chamber of Commerce, and then obviously Nashville-Chengdu sister city. What makes you excited for the future?
I look at this, like I mentioned before, the world gets smaller and smaller, and we all need a relationship. And especially on the COVID-19, the gap get bigger, but I don't believe this is permanent. It's just temporary. So I look at this, if your business want to expand that, don't limit yourself in the United States, because people, if you like your product or your services, you can open it up to different places. And to do that, we look at that TAC3 is just like a bridge, between the China and the United States. Then the sister city, they actually provide a very specific location. Not just the Chengdu in Nashville, we also have a Taiyuan, that's the first sister city. But the business, like my business, we actually combine all those together so we can do the business, not just the country, but to also reach out to very specific locations and help us nail down what kind of business we can help people. Our original 3PL services, we're helping people looking for manufacturers outside the United States. And not just help them find it, we help them see, can we help you to get the product, production going, and also the logistic, how your product come to the United States, you have to go to the shipping, you have to go to the U.S. Customs. We help them know. That's how we started the company.
Well, I know you mentioned the website before, tac3.org. So tac3.org. Go ahead and mention on your end the other websites so that we can learn more and reach in with you. So where else do we go to learn more about your efforts and tie in?
Our website is 3plservices.com. Okay, and feel free to send an email to myinfo@3pls.com. You can reach out to us. We also have another website called 3pls.com, the shorter one. You can use either one. We also have Instagram. We also have the Facebook. You can reach out over there. But the most important, social media is great, but I encourage you to the face-to-face, like through the Zoom or even a phone call. We'll be glad to meet with you and talk to you. We want to listen to your story and what you need, what we can help you, and let this community get stronger and tight together.
Absolutely. Well, Hsing, thank you for all you do, sir. Greatly appreciate it. Thank you for coming on the show.
Hey, thank you for giving us this opportunity.